Do you have friends? Do you like shooting waves and waves of the supernatural and undead? Then Strange Brigade may be right up your alley. But what is it exactly? Well, Strange Brigade is a third-person solo or cooperative shooter where you can choose from 4 distinct characters to kill some supernatural Egyptian beings who are hellbent to kill you and keep you from taking their treasures. Strange Brigade comes with a few different modes including a campaign, horde mode, and score attack mode, all of which are pretty much self-explanatory. Each mode can be played solo, or if you do have friends, can be played online. Like most games of this sort, playing solo is fun, but shooting and beheading mummies and giant scorpions with other peeps is way better. And it seems this is the way Strange Brigade is meant to be played. It's not that playing solo is a horrible experience, it's just a lonely one, and it is apparent, especially in horde mode, that a few buddies can bring some life to a somewhat generic feeling shooter. Shooters are a dime a dozen nowadays, and to stand out, a game must have that special something to not only grab players' attentions, but to keep them playing and want to come back. Right off the bat though, you will notice that Strange Brigade is a pretty good looking game. The footage you are seeing was captured on an Xbox One S, but I played it predominantly on an Xbox One X, with all the enhancements and bells and whistles. Other than some lackluster fire effects, the game simply looks good. The gameplay is right up there with the graphics too. Shooting feels right, with each weapon having a different thump and pow with each pull of the trigger, as well as varying recoil effects. Bullet impacts on enemies also have a satisfying audio and visual representation too, where bits and pieces of enemies will be torn off. Grenades can do massive damage that sends mummy pieces flying in every direction across the screen. I have never shot or blown up a mummy with dynamite before, but I always imagined that this is what it would be like. Strange Brigade plays like the developer Rebellion's other game series, Sniper Elite. So if you are familiar with and like the Sniper Elite series, you'll feel right at home playing Strange Brigade. You will notice, however, that your protagonists move way faster and more fluid than Sniper Elite's Carl Fairburn. This is because Strange Brigade is an action shooter, where standing still for too long will only get you killed. Strange Brigade plays out like an old movie with a creepy, overenthusiastic narrator who spouts out plenty of tongue-in-cheek humor. This is done not only in cutscenes, but while you're actually playing through the campaign. He isn't as annoying as you may think, and there are options to lessen the narration frequency or turn him off completely, but I didn't find him to hinder gameplay too much. I only found I cringed when he said the words Strange Brigade, which he says a lot, and the way he says it will make you want to reach to the TV, grab his throat, and put him out of his misery.
Strange Brigade! Strange Brigade! Strange Brigade!
The campaign has a variety of levels which can each be pretty lengthy, over an hour or so depending on how much searching for treasure you do. Treasure is the currency in the game, and the more treasure leads to better weapons, magical amulets, and explosives, so it's worth it to go off the beaten path. This is also where the game will throw many of its puzzles at you. You will have to solve these to open up hidden doors or barriers. You sort of feel like Indiana Jones figuring out these puzzles. They aren't terribly hard, but will require the player to use their noggin somewhat. The puzzles don't give any directions how to solve them, so the doors can be locked if you fail them multiple times. So pay attention to your surroundings, hint hint. Strange Brigade is a perfectly competent third-person shooter that will have players' attentions for some time, and this time will definitely vary. It has the graphics and it has the gameplay, but it lacks that wow factor that will keep it surviving months and years from now. So Strange Brigade gets a 7.5 and a buy later. I can't escape the feeling that this game may have a cult following, but it will never reach the heights that many shooters reach. The overall feeling of Strange Brigade is that it's one step above a generic shooter, and I can't necessarily put my finger on the reason why. I thoroughly enjoyed playing through the campaign, solving the puzzles, as well as destroying the supernatural enemies, and horde mode can be a blast with 3 other people, but I don't see myself coming back to this game over and over again. It is a shame too because the gameplay is top notch and enjoyable as anything else out there. Even through the Egyptian setting, the supernatural horde, the satisfying gunplay and the sharp graphics, Strange Brigade can't escape the feeling of been there, done that before. So remember, if you liked the review, maybe subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Till next time, keep on gaming.
A grave robber! Get the